You just beat the Lakers. You just beat the Nuggets, beat the Grizzlies. Like, I don't care about the Thunder or the Rockets. I know you lost to the Rockets yesterday, but you've had their number in the past.
If I knew they were the 3 or 4 seed, Joe, I think my opinion would be different. They have to the margin of error to the end of the year.
Are you feeling really good about those 3 wins we just mentioned? Grizzlies, Lakers, Nuggets. Or are you feeling worse about that loss yesterday because it dropped you all the way to the 6th spot? Oh, it's time to play Do You Believe, where we ask to this 3-1 stretch against the gauntlet of the Western Conference. Are you a believer at 3-1 now against the Grizzlies, the Lakers, the Nuggets? Yeah, you lost to the Rockets, but you're 3-1 against those teams. Are you a believer? Shout out the Monkeys. And Joe Shasky, we'll start off with you as always. Are you a believer in this team?
I've been a believer in this team.
I don't know. You sound a little bit scared just 5 minutes ago. You said, I got to see the matchup. The matchup doesn't matter. If they're playing their game, they can beat anyone, right?
Are you asking me or are you telling me?
I'm telling you and I'm asking you. How about that?
Thank you, Chuck Woolery. Here's what I'm thinking. Yes, they can win the championship. There's no doubt. They could also lose on Sunday and then lose in the play-in.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that. Not with this Warriors squad. Can you realistically think this team's going to lose on Sunday to the Los Angeles Clippers?
They have exerted a ton of energy just to get to this point. And I looked at the team yesterday outside of a couple of the young players. They needed a couple of days off, and the schedule just doesn't give up at any point. And so I think that they absolutely have to find a way to make Sunday not matter. I don't know if that's even possible. It feels like Sunday is going to be the big day. I'm talking about the Clipper day. If I knew today, if you said, Joe, Sunday won't matter at all, you're in the playoffs, I'd be like, yep, they win the championship. But for whatever reason, I'm just petrified that Sunday is going to mean everything.
You're going Chamber of Secrets on me. Petrification, sensation, and that's a deep cut. Shout out White Lotus and Lucius Malfoy yesterday. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there were some things that happened. Aunt Will says the GSW 2K25 title run is downloading. So he thinks he's a believer. Damon Chang, we can beat anyone. So he believes that it doesn't matter. Oklahoma City, Lakers, Nuggets, please. Jimbo, this is James Kincaid, went out and we are good. Our margin of error is gone. Gone. Well, I go Dwayne Kuiper.
I look at this team right now and I say, man, you can't tell me Jimmy, Steph, and Dre mentally, forget the physical toll, mentally don't need a week off.
That's
and then a week.
If you do have to play in a play-in, like we were talking about it with Anthony Slater last week, Joe, that I even kind of was talking about it. I wasn't being serious, but I was giving the argument for it, right?
Okay.
Hey, is a play-in the worst thing for this team? Because you're just you just want to get in, right? You want to get out of the box. And as well as this team has been playing, playing in the play-in game feels like a disappointment, but you have to spin it play the Rockets, I don't know. But now all of a sudden, the team that maybe you want to play in the first round, they're the only ones that beat you out of those last 4 games. So maybe your mindset changes there.
If I knew I had 3 or 4 days to prepare for the Rockets in a 7-game series, I wouldn't be as frustrated. I wouldn't be as low on it, because you would find a way in practice and with the staff and everything to find wrinkles to free up Steph, because he's getting face guarded and they have dynamic players. Maybe it's Steph bringing the ball up the floor. I don't know. He's gonna have to exert a lot of energy because Thompson's probably gonna guard him all 94 feet. That being said, if you play a play-in and you win the play-in and you only have a couple of days to get ready for that game, because you probably play on Saturday, they need 4 or 5 full days off. They just do.
They absolutely do.
They've run a gauntlet the last month and a half.
And they are the old, you're talking about core 3.
Are they the oldest in the Western Conference?
It's not even, well, the only other ones I could think of,
Clips?
but it's not even, no, because the Clippers' third best player is probably Ivica Zubac, and he's probably still in his 20s, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely not them.
Point.
Zubac has been a baller this year. Talking about underrated big men who have given the Warriors fits. We're talking about Şengün. No, Zubac that's the guy I'm circled. He's huge. He's huge. By the way, still one of the worst trades I've seen in NBA history. Your boy Magic Johnson trading him away from Mike Muscala. Oh my God. Remember that whole Magic Johnson saga when he stepped down? We played Freebird the whole show because he said, I'm
not going to be here.
I'm not going to be here. I'm a bird. I don't like to be in a cage. That's what it was. Shout out MJ. We got some more on the YouTube chat. We love your participation. We're playing.
Do you believe the Warriors can win the championship? If I would have asked this Saturday morning, all of us are saying absolutely, right? After that Nugget win.
It's close. So that's why I want to get out here. do you feel good or better about those 3 wins against the Grizzlies, Lakers, or Nuggets? Or are you feeling worse about that Rockets loss?
No, I feel way better about the 3 wins.
I'm thinking, why do I feel worse about
those?
that?
Those are 3 good high-end playoff teams.
But doesn't it feel like you lost a lot of that momentum because of that loss yesterday?
No,
and because where you are in the standings because of that loss.
I look at it more as the body of the Western Conference being so jumbled.
JC on the YouTube chat says, playoffs, yes. Championship, no. He is not a believer quite yet. Enrique Rivera, I'm sold on a deep run. If Dubs play their A game, bank on a run. We got Manny from H-Town, Houston, who's going to be taking on Florida today for the national championship, and that's going to be at the Alamo Dome. Doesn't matter who we got in the first round, we can take on anybody. And I'm kind of with them there. First round, I don't fear anyone, but the series is going to matter and how physical it can be, if you will. So, like, not all series are built the same. Sometimes it takes a lot out of you. Like, you go back to a couple years ago, Joe, that 7-game series against the Kings took a lot out of that team. You could see it in game 1 against the Lakers, and that was the game. That was the only game the Lakers needed at Chase Center, was that game 1.
They were a Harrison Barnes 3 away from getting knocked out.
I know. It's crazy. And then Steph dropped 50 burger on them in game 7. And if you're not on the bus, get off the bus. That was the famous speech. And he put the team on his back. But you saw how just demoralized and dejected they were after that game 1 loss in that second round. And they never really recovered from it. And that was, do you believe? So there's still a lot of belief. But I feel like that loss yesterday took a lot of the steam out of the engine. I don't know why. But it did.
Well, the Aaron Gordon Friday night. Let's go back to Friday night, right? I thought they did a great job on him, getting him off the glass. Like, we only had...
He had 2 rebounds.
He only had 2?
He had 2 rebounds.
I would have said 5 or 6.
15 points. He got to the line, so he did get to the line, but the rebounds...
He was passing really well.
He had 8 assists.
Yeah. But I thought they did a great job just on the glass. And I feel like this is where Kuminga's made strides, Looney's made strides. They did a really good job just in general as a team rebounding. Pods got a zillion loose ball rebounds.
11 offensive rebounds that night for the Warriors to the Nuggets 7. And overall, the rebound total was 38 to Denver to 36 Warriors. Very even there.
Yeah, and just...
Size wasn't giving them a problem that night.
No, but you know who actually was really good? And we just kind of gloss over. Christian Brown was awesome.
He was.
Really good. And they had a difficult time guarding him.
Real quick, can we even bring up this guy since we're talking about that Friday game as the Warriors won 118-104 against the Denver Nuggets. Probably capping off their best 3-game stretch I've seen in a regular season, just giving opponents like I've seen in quite some time. That was impressive what they were able to do there. Yeah. Russell Westbrook. That guy's going to be getting key minutes in playoff series. I'm sorry.
I still can't get over that 3-pointer he hit when there was no one available, and he hit that 3. He literally was hitting foam prior to that.
He was awful in that game on Friday. Like, just 5 points for him, 4 turnovers. That is the Russell Westbrook experience, though, in a nutshell, is it not? But he'll hit one of those shots against you, and when they're blowing you out, and then in a game where they're getting blown out, he's just not going to look very good, and he can shoot you out of it. He had 9 shot attempts off the bench, 20 minutes. 5 points for him.
The thing about the Nuggets is that Gary Payton II doesn't necessarily fit against them. For whatever reason. I also thought against the Rockets.
He had 2 minutes in that game. Yeah, just 2.
He just doesn't. He's not. He's perfect in certain matchups. I don't think he's good in that one. The other one is like Houston. They're so long. They affected a lot of his shots.
The bench wasn't very good against the Nuggets at all. That was the starters.
No, Kuminga looked clunky.
It was kind of the
Kuminga looked clunky.
It was kind of the opposite of yesterday, right? Where the bench was looking really good. And I think it was Chris in San Jose. It was like, hey, why can we see more of the bench in those sustained runs? Well, that's a Steve Kerr thing, though, right? You got to trust with you got to go down with your big boys at the end of the game. But I hear him on there, and riding the hot hand in a game like that might have been the way, just considering how exhausted those older guys were.
I think that we are never going to get calls like this. But yesterday, it's just simple to say, Steph played terrible.
He's bad. He's bad.
And I give a lot of credit to the Rockets, but I think in the fourth quarter when he was just gunning, Draymond threw one out of bounds because they were forcing it to him. He had Pods wide open on the wing. Steph passing the ball to a more open player and took some bad shots. It's okay to admit that. He's been spectacular.
Well, another part of
why he played terrible.
Well, another part of the reason why he might have not been playing very well was because maybe he was getting hacked the whole time. Here's Jimmy Butler talking about Steph not really getting that whistle yesterday.
What stood out about the way that they did guard Steph tonight, though?
He did a good job of
whatever you want to call it.
What do you call it?
I don't even know. I've never seen an individual get fouled more than he gets fouled. To me, I think that's it's astounding. But it's crazy to say, but he's used to it. It's been happening to him his whole career, and he's found a way through it, around it, under it, whatever you want to call it. That's tough.
The fouling you mean not just tonight, you mean since you've been here?
I mean, yeah, I've seen it since I've been here, but I don't know how many years he got. What he got, 16? I'm pretty sure it's been happening for 16 straight years. I get to see it, and it really angers me that he's on my team and he gets hacked like that.
Jimmy Butler yesterday after the game, 106-96 the final reaction.
I've been waiting for someone to do that forever. I waited for Steve to do the Phil Jackson thing, like, this guy's just getting crushed. I mean, he's just getting fouled off ball. I mean, you got to look for that. Phil would do that in between game 3 and game 4 or game 5 and game 6. And he was like, you got to look out for all the way that they're hugging Shaq.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or
he would do this all the time.
Bynum.
He would do this all the time. Bynum, get out of here. But he would do this all the time.
I had to throw in Andrew Bynum.
Thank you, Jimmy, for saying the quiet part out loud. Wow. He's been getting bodied for 16 straight years. If Jimmy does nothing the rest of the year, that might be the most impactful thing he does.
The free throws yesterday, I hear him. That's fine. He's sticking up for his guy. That's fine. The free throw attempts yesterday it was 11 for the Warriors, 16 overall for the Rockets. So neither team were really getting to the line that much. And when they were getting to the line, I'm not going to harp on this enough. Just the atrocious shooting, 6 of 11 and 6 of 16. It was bad yesterday. Talking about, I haven't seen a sloppy game like that in quite some time when it comes to all levels of shooting the ball. And that's what it was yesterday. Stephen Curry, 1 of 10, 1 of 8. And yeah, he might have been driving to the lane there, but in a game like that where you weren't making anything, and I get it. It goes back to your whole ref thing. You just got to call it when you see it. But I do think there's something where if a guy's not hitting the shot, they're not going to bail you out. But has he earned the right to do that? I think you would argue is hey, he's an older player. Why is the LeBrons of the world, or why do the Lucas of the world, why they can get to the line if they're not having a good shooting night? I hear you.
Well, and
that's Jimmy defending his guy for the last couple months, and he's just seeing it through his lens. And I appreciate that. That's a good teammate right there. After a tough loss where he didn't shoot the ball well.
There was a very specific 3-pointer Steph took where he got crushed by Dylan Brooks. And, it's like those kind of calls just never go his way, it feels like.
Claudia is in San Diego, wants to join in and talk about the refs last night. Claudia, good morning to you. How you doing? What did you think about the refs last night?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
I feel like, especially with that technical, Şengün was all over Dre. Dre had to tell the refs, I'm not going to get pushed around and you not call it. Call it. And then they called it on him when Şengün's the one that, initiated a push. Am I crazy?
No, I'm 100% with you.
I'll say this real quick, Claudia. I'll say this. I'll let you respond. Draymond has gotten to the point when he is staring and clapping and yelling at the official and then he shoves the player. I hear you. He's not going to get that benefit of the doubt. I think it was more so yelling at the ref, to be honest. And then it was the demonstrative nature of him shoving the player after. Now, was there some floppage, as Shasky likes to say, from Şengün? Sure. But Draymond put himself into that position. And I can't really defend that, what I saw there. I just can't defend it. Now, if you want to talk about the flagrant call, sure, there's a lot baked into it. And I think that was more of a culmination of everything that happened in the game. But it was a frustration for sure yesterday with the officials. I hear you, Claudia.
I think it's just frustrating as a fan because we only see essentially one perspective of it, right? So we see it, yeah, I'm not the biggest Dre fan when it comes to that stuff. Do we need him? Yes. Did I want him to go when everything was getting bad last year? Kinda. I really did. But it's it's one of those things where, yes, Dre puts it on himself, but for you to sit, for you to have to tell the ref, call it, and then as a fan be able to see exactly what happened, it's just rough to see every night. Now with Steph, I don't even want to talk about that because I feel like that was ridiculous. I'm just getting mad thinking about it. Dre wound up. I don't think that happened. That's not real life.
I'm with you.
Thanks, Claudia.
So
I could feel the disgust in your voice yesterday.
All right. As I'm standing up now. We're on the YouTube chat. For those that are watching, for those that are driving around, I'm going to try to explain it while I do it.
Standing, got to tell me.
If you were
standing up now, guys.
If this chair was trying to post me up, okay, you're not allowed to hand check. I have my elbow on the back seat of the chair, okay? That has been outlawed out of the game. We want freedom of movement, whatever. Conversely, though, the offense should not be allowed to have elbow in my chest, throat area as they're posting up. You're supposed to use your lower body and your butt to be able to jostle for position. And over and over again, Şengün, before the ball is inbounded, as he's coming down, the first thing he does is he feels for Dre with the elbow out. And so, yeah, when you've been elbowed by a guy 40, 50 pounds heavier than you over and over and over again, guys are going to jostle for position. You don't want to get back down. You don't want him to catch the ball too deep into the paint because then you're screwed. You're not moving that guy out. And so I understand the frustration. Personally, the way I viewed it was after the Dylan Brooks foul, Dre was clearly getting agitated. Dylan was in his face. They were going back and forth. It's two guys, highly competitive. Then they're inbounding the ball a possession later, and Şengün and Draymond are jostling straight up. That's what they are. I would have called, blew the whistle dead. Guys, I haven't even handed the ball to this player. You see this at the lower level all the time. I haven't even stop. Everyone take a deep breath. All right, now you hand the ball to the guy who's inbounding, and we go from there. But no, they called the foul, and Draymond did get him. He fouled him. I thought he fouled. Got him up in the neck, chest area, all right? And then the reaction from Draymond to the official, to me, right then and there, given everything that's going on, I would have teched him up right there just to cut the tension. All right, I've had enough, Draymond. Boom, you said your piece.
I think we could all agree at the end of the day, the game he had yesterday was unacceptable.
He was begging for trouble. Yes. I thought that he was flirting with trouble the entire time, which to his credit, he hasn't done for months.
No, he hasn't. That's why it was frustrating because, God, you could have really used that win considering the Nuggets losing to the Pacers. That was baked into it. So you could have risen up even more, and now you lose that game. You couldn't pick up any ground, and we're waking up this morning. 4 teams are tied from 5th all the way through 8th at 46 and 32, and the Warriors are clinging to that 6th spot, which is insane. Sorry, the insanity of it all, I can't even get up. This is the tightest I've ever seen probably any playoff scenario, let alone basketball, maybe in my lifetime.
Well, this is why they can ill afford to have him mentally check out of a game.
Correct.
And so, then this sequence happens where a guy misses a free throw, I forget who, and Draymond's like, yeah. And it's like, all right, guys, if I'm Kerr, I would have called the timeout and be like, dude, we gotta relax a little here. Like, let's go lock in. And Draymond's just losing his mind. And so that he's got 2 fouls at that point. Steph finally hits a shot. His only basket of the night. A deep 3-pointer right before the end of half. And it feels like, all right, we've got some momentum. Yeah. The crowd's getting fired up. And then they inbound the ball, and it's going to be a half-court heave at best by Fred VanVleet. And it's just a silly, unnecessary foul from Draymond. And then he's arguing with the refs even more. And so, look, I didn't love the flagrant one after the review for all the reasons I've expressed over and over again. But Draymond allowed himself to get emotionally carried away, and he didn't rein it in, and it felt like it zapped a lot of the momentum from the team. And then when he has to sit for 9-10 minutes at a time in the third quarter, we just couldn't catch up. They cut it to 5 multiple times, and then by the time Curry checks back in, I believe it was 7 or whatever, and they were done.